The Southern Nevada Water Authority, well, they're taking care of what's in your glass. I hear people griping and complaining, but imagine what our water would be like without them. It is sourced from the Rocky Mountains, your mineral-rich tap water. Well, it's tested more than 300,000 times a year, which meets or surpasses the highest quality standards. It even meets, wait for it, more stringent requirements than bottled water. So cheers to that, Southern Nevada. Learn more about your tap water at snwa.com.
We've got some big beer festivals coming up in the Valley this fall, and honestly, just with the weather cooling off, it makes you want to get together with friends. So today on CityCast Las Vegas, we're bringing back a conversation I had with the beer expert at Khoury's Fine Wine and Spirits, Phillip Garcia. He gives me the skinny on the best local beers in Las Vegas and the best places to drink them. It's Thursday, August 21st. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Okay, so I did look this up because 50, whatever seems like a lot of breweries, but we're actually kind of on the low end when it comes to other states of the U.S., as you probably know. California has almost 1,000 craft breweries, and even teetotaling Utah has 44. We do beat them. But, to go from 21 to 53 breweries, that is a huge increase. So why do you think that's happened in the past decade?
Well, I think that just the understanding of what beer is, and it's not just always, lagers or the big macro guys like Bud Miller, Coors, and there's different options and there's different, types of beer that people weren't really getting into 20 years ago, like, some of the fruited sours and double dry hopped IPAs or India Pale Ales.
We're going to get into both of those, actually, because we see a lot of those right now. We'll come back to it. I'm just excited.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that, even with my wife, she goes, hey, listen, I'm a big craft beer guy. Is this something that you would like? She goes, well, I really don't know. But she just always thought that beer was Bud Miller, Coors. And I said, well, do you like things that are like sour, like Sour Patch Kids? And she fell in love with sours. And that just progressed her on to be now she's drinking big old West Coast IPAs that are bitter and hoppy and aggressive. And it's this journey that people learn about other than just the big guys of Bud Miller, Coors. So with that, I feel that, especially here in Vegas, we live in a desert. Water quality is not great. So at that point in time, it's not the most ideal place to make beer, but we're catching up. We're getting there. We have some great talented brewers here in town.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait till people start making water directly from Lake Mead. Those beers that are like brewed with ocean water, like they're just scooping it out of some like the Amargosa Valley puddles. That would be something.
We have a joke at Khoury's. We have a water station, and we call it the Lake Mead Lager for that reason.
That's pretty cute. That's pretty good. Well, people love good food. We've seen you can get good coffee almost anywhere now, and it is such a relief, especially compared to a decade ago, that you can go into any half-decent bar, even a dive bar, and there's probably going to be like a decent, craft beer on tap. So it only makes sense that Vegas as a foodie city is going to catch up with that.
So I think for us in Vegas, the original craft brewery started in 1993, I believe, and that was Big Dogs, back when they were a part of, it was a Holy Cow Casino on the Strip. And then when Holy Cow shut down, they moved their operations up north.
That actually surprises me it was that long ago.
Yeah, Big
93
Dogs
is early.
Yeah, I'll say this. Dave Pasquale up over, and he's brewing for Big Dogs now, that guy is fantastic. I couldn't even tell you how many medals he's won at Great American Beer Festival, which is one of the top beer festival award situations, them and World Beer Cup. Those are two of the biggest ones. And he's just absolutely fantastic up there. But yeah, they've been around since 93. And then you've had some come and go, like Joseph James, which is really sad when they shuttered. It's interesting, especially in Las Vegas, that because of brewing back in, the late 90s, early 2000s, it was such a small scene. When a brewery closed, it was like everything kind of shifted where you didn't have a lot of options. So the community itself of head brewers was quite small. At that point, Joseph James, head brewer, he now works over at Able Baker down in the Arts District. Matt Marino. There's so many great brewers that just kind of hop between breweries to find steady employment.
I mean, and certainly that group has gotten bigger and bigger with the increase in the number of breweries. But okay, so maybe someone is curious, how do most craft brewers get started? Like before they open the doors on their first official brewery, what are the first steps?
So most people, when they start, they're starting home brewing. And there's an amazing store. It's on Charleston. I know it's called Las Vegas Homebrew Supply. I started home brewing and realized I am a terrible brewer. So when you start doing that, the home brewing thing, you start getting in with Snafu, which is a Southern Nevada Ale Fermenters Union, and you meet other home brewers, and then you guys start trading ideas, recipes, new way of doing things, new processes of how you're going to brew. And little by little, you can back behind someone that you've known for 5 years, 8 years that you're friends with, and then they go and say, "Hey, listen, I'm jumping and I'm trying to do this full time at this point." I mean, Craft House is another one. Dave was running valet when they open Craft House. So it's just kind of one of those things that you start primarily home brewing, or you go in and you basically do like an internship with become an assistant brewer
Like an apprenticeship.
under some, like an apprenticeship basically.
It's very
It'll teach you how to
medieval guildy.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, yes. But the problem is I mean, even when you're, and this is one of the things that I don't judge any brewery by their first year in business. I just don't feel like it's right. And the reason being is because you're going from a 5-gallon system to, maybe a 15 barrel system. So knowing the processes of that individual system, where the temperatures, when you need to drop hops, the boiling to make wort, all of that type of stuff you need to learn on that system. So when someone starts a new brewery, I feel like it's not fair to them for the first year. So anytime someone opens a new brewery and they go, "Hey, have you been down there? They just opened last week." I was like, yeah, the beer was good, but I'm not going to judge them until, like, if I have a bad beer from there, that's okay. Like, people are allowed to learn on their system other than just because you're scaling up so much.
That's a good reminder for all of us, right? That it's such a huge investment in many ways to open a space like that. Mm-hmm. So don't judge them too quick. Give them another try in 6 months and then another 6 months.
Absolutely. It's kind of like being a mechanic on a Vespa and then being like, "Oh yeah, I went to this aircraft carrier and I just don't know how it works." And you're like, well, man, like it's a dramatic difference on home brewing compared to, production brewing at a commercial facility. So I don't judge anyone based off that first year. And like you said, go back 6 months, go back another 6 months and try them again.
So you are, by your own admission, not a great brewer, but
no.
You must be a great taster, as the beer buyer Khoury's.
I've drank 1 or 2 beers in my day. That's for sure.
You mean today, not...
Well, I try not to drink before 1 p.m. I do my best. Unless I'm on vacation, then, all bets are off.
And sometimes it's just a professional consideration. So when you're tasting beers and you're thinking about what to buy for Khoury's, like, what, in your opinion, does make a really great craft beer?
So I think it depends on what type of beer we're talking about, first and foremost. So beer primarily is broken down into 2 categories, ales and lagers. Mm-hmm. So they're 2 completely different styles. They ferment at different temperatures, meaning you have to age them in certain temperatures for longer and shorter distances. For me, when we're talking about bringing something into the shop, it has to have 2 things. Number one, it has to be true to its style. If I can taste any off flavors or anything like that, it just doesn't seem right with that style, then no, we won't bring it in. The other big thing, especially for local breweries, is we want to see you. We want to make sure that you're coming into the shop. We want to make sure that you're here and you become a part of our community the same way that we want to be a part of yours.
So it does seem like, and you've already mentioned this, it's funny because this was already in my notes, that there really are these 2 sort of styles that are dominating and have been dominating craft beer really since its inception. And I would say that let's start with IPAs first. Can you tell us what they are, why there are so many, and maybe what beers and breweries you'd recommend for those who love them?
So first and foremost, let's go into why they were called IPAs. Mm-hmm. So it is an India Pale Ale. So basically what was happening was in England, to send beer to India, back in the day, it would all be on ships. So they would sail from London or wherever they were sailing. They would go down around the Horn of Africa and then back up to India.
It's a long way.
It's a very long way. It takes a lot of time on a ship. Well, the issue with that is that by the time a pale ale from London would get to India, all the hops would die off, so it wouldn't taste like a pale ale anymore. So where they got the India Pale Ale from is hops are a natural preservative. So they just increased a lot of hops thinking that, all right, it's going to fall off going the 60-day journey. But by the time it gets there, it's going to taste like a normal pale ale. So that's where the term IPA comes from. It's India Pale Ale. Okay. Now, when you talk about the different styles of IPAs, now there's like a West Coast IPA, there's like a Midwest IPA, there's going to be New England style IPAs, hazy IPAs. I mean, Pure Project they call them murky IPAs, and they're out of Carlsbad, California, and San Diego. But the difference is this. On West Coast IPAs, we use the C hops, Columbus, Centennial, Citra, things like that. They're very big, aggressive hops. So it's going to be a very bitter, kind of like punch you in the face with a hop type of mentality.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, for sure.
It is not. It is not.
So here in Vegas, what are some IPAs that you like that are being made locally?
So
Boulder City can count too. Anywhere in Southern Nevada. Anywhere we can drive to in an hour.
Absolutely. I would say each brewery does something really well. If you're talking about West Coast IPAs, my favorite and honestly one of the core beers in Southern Nevada is Atomic Duck from Able Baker. I think Matt, who was the old brewer over the now defunct Joseph James, they just made incredible beer. So over there, if it's a West Coast IPA, it's that. The other one, if you're going to go with hazy, I think the people that are just killing it right now are obviously the Beer Zombies guys. They are just known for their big old juicy quadruple, triple, double dry hopped IPAs. They're doing a lot of really, really, really good work over there.
I really don't like IPAs.
That's
I'm
okay.
one of those because I'm
fine.
kind of adverse to bitter flavors, but I kind of want to. So do you have like one or two quick recommendations for an IPA for someone who doesn't think they like IPAs?
I would probably do Love Juice from Love Lady Brewing. They're out on Water Street and they have another tap room on Green Valley Parkway. I would start there. It's going to be very juice forward, going to be very traditional style, New England style IPA. It's going to try to be like orange juice in a can. That's where I would start if I was going to venture into the IPA category.
Okay, well, good, because that's my neighborhood. And if anyone wants to come meet me and get their butt kicked on Tabletop Shuffleboard while we're there, I'm game. Let me know. So we also seem to be really big on beer with added flavors. And I don't just mean Southern Nevada. Like, that's where the industry is in the moment. Like, it feels like a wine cooler beer. You know, I do love the flavor of just beer. So are there some traditions there that the sort of like adding juice or like a sweeter or more sour beer, like what traditions are those coming out of?
So there's, in a lot of cases, when you're talking about fruited sours, they will add fruit to the beer. Like they call those like slushy beers where it just comes out. It's like a fruit puree in a beer. There are those beers, but there's also a lot of like sour beers that they just use, flash souring, like kettle sour processes to try to get it sour as fast as possible. There's two really distinct types of sours. There's going to be like your barrel-aged sours that are going to sit on in a barrel for 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, and then they'll get bottled, and then they'll be presented at breweries. Then there's like a kettle sour. Kettle sours don't take very long to produce. They put them in a keg, mess with them, basically add a lactobacillus, things like that to intentionally sour the beer and try to get it done as fast as possible.
So much like the IPAs, you can brew them relatively quickly. So if you're just getting up off the ground in your
for
brewery.
some of the kettle sours, correct. Yeah,
Got
for
it.
some of them. But it at the same point, when you're talking about some of the new trends and things like that, and you're talking about added things to beer, we call them adjuncts. When you're adding adjuncts to beer, I mean, there's imperial stouts now that have toasted marshmallows and,
so
things
much.
like that. Yeah.
Can you give me a couple recommendations of like a fruited sour or maybe, a macerated stout that you're really into?
So if I'm going sours, Ninth Island, they do a great kettle sour. When you go to like the zombie whips and things like that over at Beer Zombies, those are going to be more your traditional slushy sour, fruited sours, things like that. A lot of people in Nevada don't really do the traditional barrel aging sours. And the reason being is this. In normal situations, you don't want to brew those in your traditional brew house where you're brewing anything else. Because if one strain gets in with your IPA, you're going to have to completely dump that IPA.
Oh, wow. Too
because
sour.
it'll make your IPA sour.
Yeah.
So a lot of places will not brew all of their core lagers, stouts, porters, IPAs, any saisons, anything like that in the same house that they're going to brew their sours. They'll use a completely different facility. And at that point in time, and then on top of that, like Southern Nevada is not a great spot to primarily hold a barrel for 3 years. It just gets too hot. We don't have the humidity that it's not inducive to what you need to do for those type of barrel aging sours. So we don't get a lot of them. I know they have some up north. Imbibe does some great sours, barrel aging sours up in Reno. They do some great work up there, but Southern Nevada, it's just not conducive.
All right. So what do we do well here? What do we do really well? And is there anything unique popping up here down in Southern Nevada?
I would say the things that we do well, lagers, IPAs, and stouts. We do those extremely well.
And what are some of your favorites of those?
Brewery-wise, North Fifth, they are killing it right now. They're off of, I think it's like Mayflower and Commerce, but they've been around for 3 years maybe. But what they're producing is just top notch. I think Craft House is doing great things. Huddle is doing really good things. A lot of people, the one thing that I really appreciate about Huddle is that they're not afraid to go into the weird styles. Not many places make cream ales anymore. And they're saying like, we can make it. Yeah, we can do this and we can do it well. And they're doing a great job.
I think it's awesome. I do love their cream ale too. I really do.
Yeah. Las Vegas Brewing Company has Chantilly, and they've just opened up downtown as of recent too in the Arts District. And that's, besides the Arts District, you're going to have Water Street that's going to have Love Lady and Mojave. They're going to be down over there. You're going to have Big Dogs on the northwest side of town. But primarily, the vast majority of breweries are all kind of in that Arts District location. So you're going to have Nevada Brew Works, Huddle, Able Baker, Hop Nuts. I know they're going to do a new one it's called Sin Sin Brew House and Seafood Bar. And it's going to be where the old Neon Desert is or was when Neon Desert moved over to Henderson for a larger facility.
So let's talk a little bit about like the spaces themselves. Like what are some breweries that you really like hanging out in and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I love Able Baker. I do love the outside patio. I know their outside patio is dog friendly. We have my little fur baby that comes with us occasionally.
Yeah, we did trivia there as a CityCast team, and there was a 3-way tie for second place. So go us. It's kind of an accomplishment.
Yeah, no, they just do a good job over there. Yeah. I really like the people over at Love Lady in Henderson. They're absolutely fantastic. I like the Huddle and Nevada Brew Works. They're right next to Soul Belly Barbecue, so you just get really good food and really good beer over there. Beer Zombies they've really taken over the Tenaya Creek location and has made it their own. But I like them. I love Big Dogs on the northwest side of town there. They have a really fun location, and they just redid their draft system up there.
What makes the location fun?
Well, it reminds you of like a Wisconsin bar. They're a barbecue, like kind of like a Packers. Everyone kind of knows who you are. It's just you get that kind of like homely vibe to it, if that makes sense.
It does, because not a brewery, but silver stamp in the Arts District. It feels like a basement, like a VFW hall in the Midwest, 100%.
Yeah, no, and I mean Rose and Andrew, those are my friends. They're absolutely incredible people.
Amazing beer bar.
And yeah, no, and that's another thing that like look at all the beer bars now that are actually showing local people love.
Yeah,
totally. Like Pizza Rebellion, their entire draft and beer program is only local.
Oh man, I got to check them out. Okay.
So yeah, Pizza Rebellion, great food, and to support just strictly local beer. I mean, it says a lot to me. So I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll go support them for sure.
And sort of on that, why is craft brewing good for Las Vegas, do you think?
Well, it does two things. Number one, it does help our local economy. People come here. So they come in for a concert. Great. Well, why don't you support the local brewery scene while you're here? A lot of people come in here, and especially even at our store. Man, we had a gentleman from Western Ireland in here yesterday. So like people come in here and they want to taste, new, exciting, different local beers. We're starting to attract more and more and more people. Listen, like it, love it, hate it, however you want. Vegas is getting larger. It just that's it. It is what it is. So the more people we have here, the more beer is going to get drank. The more local people, local jobs, local spots that we have available to satisfy that need. It's only better for all of us. And then on top of that, selfishly, our beer's just getting better and better and better and better and better. We're getting people from California that says, "Hey, man, I've always wanted to try this beer. I've never had it. I got it in California."
That's
and they're
cool.
coming out here to different places to try to find it. So I'm excited for the future.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Phil.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Hey, if you enjoyed this show, why not tell a friend and go get a beer? Try something new, try something local. Don't forget to please rate our show, leave us a review, and definitely subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.